This Prismatic Hunter build will have you clearing out add heavy rooms with ease while giving yourself free damage resistance, and yes, of course, you will still have great DPS too. Mako's Buck here, and today let's talk about the Electric Helicopter build. Let's get into the most important piece of the build, and that is going to be the exotic chess piece, Gifted Conviction. Gifted Conviction comes with Gift of Certainty, activating Ascension or Tempest Strike throws bouncing explosives at nearby targets that jolt and damage them. And jolting nearby targets grants you damage resistance. With that said, let's get right into the subclass setup, and we will be going Prismatic. Your super is situational and preference, but just a heads up, we will be running Facet of Purpose, so that will synergize with your selected super. For DPS scenarios, you can go with Golden Gun. For add, clear, and artifact synergies, you can go with Silence and Squall, which is what I typically run, and for add, clear, and woven mail things, you can run Silk Strike. The only super I would not run in PvE would be the Arc one. Your abilities will be Marksman's Dodge, as it has the shorter cooldown, Triple Jump, Melee is preference, but I like Threaded Spike, and Duskfield Grenade. Your aspects will be Ascension, while Airborne holds your class ability to summon a arc staff, propelling yourself upward and creating a burst of energy around you that jolts enemies and amplifies yourself and allies. Obviously, when you do this, you will also drop Jolting Grenades, as we are running Gifted Conviction. Our other aspect will be Stylus Executioner. Defeating targets affected by any elemental debuff grants invisibility and true sight. This means every time you defeat a jolted target, you will become invis. Our fragments for this build will be Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly, meaning every time you are amplified, your helicopter comes back extremely fast. Facet of Awakening, rapidly defeating targets will generate an elemental pickup of the matching type. Facet of Protection, while surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. Facet of Courage, your Arc, Solar, and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets afflicted with a Darkness debuff, hit an enemy with your Dustfield Nade, or strand melee, and they will receive more damage from Ascension. And lastly, Facet of Purpose, picking up an Orb of Power grants you an elemental buff based on the damage type of your equipped super. Now that we have our subclass set up, let's move on to our weapons, and Lost Signal will be going in the kinetic slot. Lost Signal is a stasis area denial grenade launcher. This is essentially a legendary Witherhoard and works great with weakening GL artifact this season. You can craft this with quick launch, high velocity rounds, auto-loading holster, and either Vorpal or One for All. Your heavy weapon will also be a stasis weapon, and that will be the VS Chill Inhibitor Heavy Grenade Launcher with Spike Nades, Envious Arsenal, and Bait and Switch. For our energy slot, and this is an important one, you want to run an arc weapon that has either Volt Shot or Jolting Feedback, which you are in luck because there is currently a lot of great options for arc weapons. The best in slot for this particular build would be the VS Pyro Electric Propellant AR with Strategist and Jolting Feedback. Strategist provides class ability energy when defeating an enemy, and Jolting Feedback can clear whole rooms just by shooting your weapon. This combo will give you Ascension back insanely quick. I do not have the roll on the AR, so I am currently using the Strategist Volt Shot Anonymous Autumn roll you can obtain from the Crucible and Shax. Now, if you don't have either of these rolls for these weapons, you can easily run a crafted subjunctive with Shoot to Loot Volt Shot or a Feeding Frenzy Volt Shot Ikelos SMG. Honestly, any Volt Shot or Jolting Feedback arc weapon will get you by. Now that we have our weapons sorted, let's mod that armor, and this time I'm going to start with the cloak since Ascension is a little odd when it comes to mod synergies. Ascension does not work with mods like Bomber, Outreach, or Powerful Attraction, so we are going with Double Utility Kickstart, as this does work with Ascension. When your class ability energy is fully expended, your armor charge is consumed and you gain class ability energy for each armor charge used. Moving on to the helmet, and keeping with the same theme as regular dodge mods do not work with Ascension, we will just be throwing Arc Siphon, Rapid Arc Weapon Final Blows, Create an Orb of Power, and Special Ammo Finder on our helmet. Your arms will be Arc Loader, Stasis Dexterity, and Fastball. Chests will be damage resistances matching the types of enemies you are fighting. And lastly, legs will be Recuperation, picking up an Orb of Power replenishes health. Insulation reduces class ability cooldown each time you pick up an Orb of Power. And Stacks on Stacks, picking up an Orb of Power grants one additional armor charge. Pretty much the combination of Strategist, Utility, Kickstart, Insulation, and Facet of Hope is going to give you as close to infinite Ascensions as possible. Your stat goals for this build will be 100 Resilience, with the rest going into Mobility and Discipline. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn those notifications on. See you next time.